Hi, Taehyung lovers all around the world. Welcome back to the Taehyung Lovers Worldwide channel. 3 seconds. Don't skip, because what we're about to discuss today is not just a fashion campaign. This is about the moment when the world unconsciously acknowledged one thing. The center of cultural gravity is shifting. February 2026 was not an ordinary month. Within silent white walls and sharply falling sunlight, one name stood standing. One that has never truly left a global conversation. Kim Taehyung. And from there, everything changed. The spring campaign from Snow Peak looked simple. A premium black jacket, a minimalist silhouette, a total look above $1,000. But this is not about the price. This is about impact. One hand gesture partially covering his face created mystery. One sharp yet gentle gaze triggered millions of interactions. Half a face, full of curiosity. And the world once again echoed with one simple sentence. I love Kim Taehyung. But that was only the beginning. Because just weeks later, 260,000 ARMY were projected to flood Gwanghwamun Square in Seoul to welcome BTS's full group comeback. Hotels fully booked. Convenience stores doubling their stock. Netflix securing the global broadcast. The phenomenon was even nicknamed BTSnomics. This was not merely a concert. It was a real economic and cultural wave. So now the question is, was this just coincidence? Or are Kim Taehyung and BTS rewriting the global map of influence? Watch until the end, because by the end of this video, you will understand why February 2026 was not just a viral moment, but a chapter of history. And as always, if you believe the world should continue to see the goodness and positive impact of Kim Taehyung, don't forget to like, share your thought in the comments, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and spread this video worldwide. Because your voice is not just support, it is part of that history itself. Because in February 2026, the world did not simply see a new fashion campaign. The world witnessed a tangible and measurable cultural gravitational shift. In a simple white wall landscape, sunlight fell sharply, forming bold shadows. In the middle of that spotlight stood a figure whose name has never truly left a global conversation. Kim Taehyung. The spring campaign from Snow Peak was not merely an outdoor fashion promotion, but an aesthetic declaration of calmness, strength, and charisma that does not need to shout to be heard. In one of the main photos, Taehyung wore a lightweight black outdoor technology jacket estimated in the USD 280 to 450 range, paired with minimalist darkener layer around USD 80 to 120, along with elegant burgundy tone loose trousers ranging from USD 150 to 250. The sturdy black boots completing the look were estimated at USD 300 to 500. The total look easily surpassed $1,000, reflecting the campaign's premium positioning. But numbers are only symbols. What is far more valuable is the psychological impression created when that visual appears simultaneously on millions of timelines. The gesture was simple, a raised hand partially covering his face. Yet, that is precisely where the power of visual narrative works. The human brain is naturally drawn to mystery, to what is not fully revealed. Half a face creates curiosity. Curiosity creates attachment, and attachment creates global conversation. A defined jawline, a precise straight nose, symmetrical facial proportions often discussed in modern aesthetic studies were captured clearly in natural lighting without aggressive filters. His gaze was sharp yet soft, locking onto the camera without intimidation, a paradox rarely possessed by public figures. In the next frame, a black hoodie framed his face with more dramatic silhouette. Arms folded across his chest, he looked to the side, as if weighing the world in silence. The shadow on the wall became a metaphor for a figure always one step ahead of trends. Even before this campaign was officially released, the name Kim Taehyung had already become a trending topic across countries. On Platform X, the simple phrase, I love Kim Taehyung, once again dominated global timelines, showing a consistency of influence that surpasses ordinary promotional cycles. The colored video, combined with black and white cuts near a window, revealed a deeper reflective side. Soft light touched his cheek, highlighting skin texture and natural contours without excessive color distraction. In this scene, Taehyung was not merely a model. He became the narrative. The camera captured more than clothing. It captured emotion. There was a melancholic depth that made viewers unable to look away, even for a second. This was a moment when advertising transformed into a visual experience that felt like a world-class high-fashion editorial. But February 2026 did not stop at one campaign. Weeks later, South Korea prepared for a much bigger wave. In the heart of Seoul at Gwanghwamun Square, around 260,000 ARMY from around the world were projected to gather on March 21st, 2026 to witness BTS Comeback Live, ARIRANG. After completing military service, the 7 members of BTS returned in full formation. RM, Jin, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook. The world was not just watching. The world was preparing to come in person. Within 24 hours after the free concert announcement was released, global searches for Gwanghwamun reportedly tripled according to digital trend data. 5-star hotels around the location were reported fully booked, with approximately 1,500 rooms reserved for the concert night. Hotel lobbies were filled with multiple languages, English, Japanese, Mandarin, Indonesian, reflecting real international mobilization. More than 100 convenience stores in the surrounding area increased tourist favorite product stocks several times over. Major retailers deployed multilingual staff, ensuring optimal service for the wave of global visitors. This phenomenon was nicknamed BTSnomics by local residents, referring to the direct economic impact of the group's activities on hospitality, transportation, retail, and tourism sectors. Global streaming platforms such as Netflix also played a role as a global broadcast rights holder, securing prime promotion on digital billboards in the area. But the real power did not solely come from corporations. It came from a global community organized with extraordinary precision. International fan bases coordinated advertising projects on major buildings 2 days before the concert. Online forums shared travel guides and culinary recommendations around Gyeongbokgung Palace and Gwangjang Market. Seoul was projected to become a cultural pilgrimage route, where music meets history and fandom meets national identity. Local government officials even held coordination meetings with business operators to prevent unreasonable pricing practices, protecting the country's reputation in the eyes of the world. When 260,000 people stand in one historic square, what happens is not just a concert. What happens is a collective validation of the feeling of being part of something bigger than oneself. At this point, the old debate about whether K-pop is merely a temporary trend feels outdated. February 2026 proved that modern cultural power can move parallel to industrial power. From the minimalist Snow Peak campaign featuring Kim Taehyung as a global icon, to the sea of purple lights at Gwanghwamun, the common thread is clear. Influence that is consistent, measurable, and truly impactful. When the first note echoed through Gwanghwamun, it was not just music that was heard. What resonated was economic pulse, national pride, and the echo of a global fandom that has transcended geographic boundaries. This was not merely a comeback, not merely an advertisement, not merely a viral moment. This was a cultural event marking how the 21st century is defined by emotional connection, narrative power, and figures capable of uniting millions on the same frequency. February 2026 was not just a month on the calendar. It was a chapter rewriting the global map of influence. Taehyung lovers all around the world, we've reached the end. But believe this, the story is not truly finished. Because in February 2026, the world did not simply see a new fashion campaign. The world witnessed a real and measurable cultural gravitational shift. In that simple white landscape under sharply falling light stood one name that never leaves the global conversation: Kim Taehyung. The spring campaign from Snow Peak was not merely about a jacket worth hundreds of dollars or a total look above $1,000. It was a symbol. What mattered more was the impact. The way one simple gesture, one mysterious gaze, could move millions of interactions within minutes. And when weeks later 260,000 ARMY were projected to flood Gwanghwamun Square to welcome BTS's full comeback, the world was once again forced to acknowledge that this was not a temporary trend. This was a cultural phenomenon. Hotels full, retail surging, global broadcast secured. Even a term was born: BTSnomics. all starting from the same core. Consistent influence and emotional connection that cannot be fabricated. So before you close this video, ask yourself, are we witnessing history being written slowly or a massive explosion that has just begun? Thank you for watching until the end. If you feel this content open your eyes and heart, don't forget to like, write your most honest comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next moment. Share it so the world continues to see the goodness and positive impact of Kim Taehyung. And if you don't like it, simply skip it. Taehyung Lovers channel never forces anyone, because true influence does not need force. See you in the next story. And believe it, the next one might be bigger than we imagine.